In Virginia, we recently had a shooting. Guy clearly did it for political reasons. In this case, a very rare situation where he was on the left. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Now that's, of course, no bad thing on Bernie Sanders. I mean, if a Martin Luther King supporter shot someone, that's not on Martin Luther King. He talked about nonviolence, Bernie Sanders talks about it. But he was on the left, and he did do it for political reasons, and he shot a Republican legislator, Stephen Scalise, who, by the way, has improved now. He's in fair condition, which is great news. But curiously enough, the FBI said today, at this point in the investigation, the FBI does not believe there's a nexus to terrorism. What do you mean there's no nexus to terrorism? You don't need a nexus to terrorism. It is terrorism. He shot people for a political reason. In fact, let's go to the dictionary definition. Dictionary definition of terrorism is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. It's literally a textbook definition of terrorism. The guy does a shooting of people he doesn't like, in this case Republicans, for political reasons. There is no nexus to terrorism. It just is terrorism. Now, gee, I wonder why they don't call it terrorism. Let's take a quick look at this gentleman here. Oh yeah, that's true, he's not Muslim. Okay, left wing or right wing, if you're white, I wouldn't call it terrorism. There's no all in front of his name at all. Al Fine, all dangerous terrorist. Okay, not fine, obviously, killed people and would have faced charges, etc. And then I thought, what, is there any white person they've ever called a terrorist? Fair question. Well, actually, there are, and we found them. Okay, if you remember, of course, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, he's pretty much considered a terrorist, sure. Timothy McVeigh, who did the bombing in Oklahoma City. Eric Rudolph, who did the Atlanta bombings, Olympic bombings, and he did abortion bombings as well. I figured it out. If you're white, if you want to get called a terrorist, you've actually got to bring a bomb with you. Okay, now if you're Muslim, you run people over, you're a terrorist, you knife people, you're a terrorist, you shoot people. Orlando, San Bernardino, you're a terrorist. Well, I mean, they had a political reason, they targeted civilians, etc., right? If you're white and you shoot congressmen, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, Gabby Gifford, Steve Scalise, or you shoot anyone else, if you don't have a bomb with you, you ain't a terrorist. It's curious, it's not in the dictionary, but that apparently is the definition we're going with. Call it what it is. You just watched the video from the Young Turks. Did you know that there's a live 2-hour show every day, and that if you're a member of the Young Turks, you can get that on demand anytime you want without ads? Plus the post game just for members, plus Aggressive Progressives, plus Old School, plus so many other network shows. Go right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Was the Virginia shooter a terrorist? Very simple, yes, no. tytnetwork.com/shooter, okay? tytnetwork.com/shooter. Was the Virginia shooter a terrorist? Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you think that he's not a shooter a terrorist for other reasons.